Alright, so one of the issues is when I was at the cage builder, I was like, oh, I just put a bar here and here, it'll look good, it'll make it strong, it'll make it nice. But yeah, that's come back to bite me in the ass because now the fuse box doesn't fit anymore. So
Surprise, surprise.
if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, I thought, oh, we'll just cut a bit out and we'll make it fit. This is making it fit. This is measuring nothing and just cutting away and then realizing it doesn't work that way. But if it had worked, it would have saved a ton of time. So there's no shame in just fucking sending it. So what we've done is we've 3D scanned the entire engine bay with the cage. We then took a scan of the old fuse box itself. We made a model of this to make an exact replica of the original. And then we make modifications in order to fit these bars here and here. So the plan is to make an entirely new fuse box based on the original design, but then make some cutouts for the bar so everything fits in the original place. I thought, how hard can it be? Well, it turns out it's pretty fucking difficult if you don't know how to make digital models, but we'll just do it real fast, real quick. But yeah, let me show you what we've been working on upstairs. All right. Don't worry about that. We're fine. All right, so yeah, this is my pen pal. All right, so we took a scan of the engine bay to locate all the original mounting points. Then we took a scan of the original fuse box, which I had to quickly stitch together because I chopped it up because I'm that impatient. And then I just simply had to remodel it. All right, so we now have a model of the engine bay, the fuse box, and the exact location of the roll cage. As you can see, it doesn't quite fit. So I've made a new model of the fuse box itself. So this is the new fuse box, which is an exact copy of the original with some modifications here to allow the roll cage to fit in between. The printer is going to do its thing because it's going to be about 20 hours of printing. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. You'll see in a minute. We won't.
So 11 hours, 7 minutes, and then you'll have a
partial fuse box.
Fuse box that doesn't fit.
So, piece of cake. First try. We had a little hiccup. We might have a little bit of separation, but I'm still in denial, so I'm gonna say this is a minor inconvenience. But we're just gonna glue it back together because we're gonna glue this part, so why not glue this part?
Instead of 2 pieces, 3 pieces.
Yeah, the more glue you use, the sturdier it gets. It's just part of the process.
Ooh la la.
Alleen, ja, komt toch niet in de video.
Ligt aan wie het edit.
Nee. Ik doe het wel.
Ja?
Ja, ik doe het wel. Kijk, this is the part I did. And this is the part Joe did. Is niet hoog voor jou? Okay. All right, we kind of don't have any jobs left to do because we are working on getting the fuse box installed. You'll see that later. However, it's still drying. We still need to sand, polish it because you know how much I love sanding. So one of the jobs we're gonna do now is put in the carpet, or at least make it fit, because now we got all kinds of other stuff like the seatbelt harness and the roll cage to take into account. So we're gonna fit the carpet, make the cutouts where necessary, so when the time comes we can just easily put it in. Should be easy.
Maat, wat is er met die focus van die camera? Even serieus. Die is nog slechter dan de focus van Mark.
Mark came in today just past lunch. So it was 1 o'clock. It's now 7. He just left 15 minutes ago. He was gonna make some decent progress on his car today. Let's just see. This is what it looks like, a fucking crime scene. It looks like someone just got mugged.
Just left everything open.
Just drop everything and just go, you know?
Ik zei het dat. Beetje spugen. Dan gaat er makkelijker in.
Maar ouders kijken dit ook, hè? Boah.
Laat zien wat voor monsters ik maakte.
Hey, die van jou kijken ook, hè? Dus dat is
Sorry, ma.
Nu is het nu te laat voor.
Ja.
Nee, hoeft niet te helpen. Lukt
Ik moet er filmen.
Alright, so that was a bit easier than we thought because the carpet pretty much fits. So the only cutout we need to make is this one. So we're just gonna measure from a reference point and we're gonna cut it out on the floor and it should fit pretty much straight away. We really cannot fuck this one up. Famous last words. Nah, really. 82, onthoud je het even? 82. Okay. Well, you just absolutely wing it and it's better than it should.
Ja, ik doe voorzichtig. Hier zal waarschijnlijk nog een stukje uit moeten dan.
OEM. OEM plus Ultra Club Sport.
Oh, die is goed, hè?
Ah, yeah. Nee, deze
Kan je niet beter de auto uitmeten? Of zeg je nou iets geks?
De prijs toch gelijk in theorie.
In theorie, ja. Als jij er goed gevoel bij hebt, dan gokken.
Dat zeg ik niet.
Jij bent er trouw in? Als je niet door dat de camera aanstaat. Maar als gewoon dubbel check voordat je iets heel offensiefs ging zeggen.
Doen we hier niet. Measure once, cut twice.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we made a little mistake. It wasn't our fault.
Flashback.
And it should fit pretty much straight away. We really cannot fuck this one up.
Kan je niet beter de auto uitmeten?
Hij is toch gelijk in theorie. We thought everything was going to be symmetrical. So we cut this side first. And then we replicated the measurements from this side to this side. However, this main bar is slightly off by about 1 centimeter. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. Tomorrow we're gonna be sourcing another dashboard and another carpet, which both function as templates. But yeah, other than that, it was looking good. We were really
On fire.
Yeah. All right, live and learn.
The next day.
All right, so we finished the fuse box. It turned out pretty okay, I'll be honest. It could be better, but it is 3D printing after all, so I put a lot of focus into the side you actually see in the car. The rest could be a bit better finished, but who am I kidding? No one is ever gonna see this, and compared to the original fuse box, it still looks pretty good. Alright, so I only remade the bottom part of the fuse box because the top part is much more complex, because this houses all the relays and the fuses. It has all these tiny connections to click into, and I really wasn't in the mood to remake all of that. So this has been kept stock. I only had to make a little cutout and tidy up some stuff so it's sealed again. But this fits onto the original remake pretty much plug and play. So like this, we have the original part on top of the new custom bottom part, which has a nice cutout for the roll cage here and here. And you can just mount the original cap on top of that, obviously, because it's easy, it's so easy, it's just like that. And just like that, you have a quick fix And just like that, you have a really easy fix for a simple issue that didn't need to be this complex, but that's just how we do things. All right, so the next part of this is to put the wiring harness back into the fuse box itself. Before I do that, I have to make some small changes. That has to do with the ABS system, because obviously we need to remake the ABS wiring loom for the chassis, and it's gonna require some power wires, some grounds, some sensor wires to run through the fuse box. So that's what I'm gonna be doing now. I'm gonna be preparing all of that. I'm not gonna be doing it in its entirety, but I'm gonna prepare everything so once the fuse box is in, it doesn't have to come out again, because it is 3D printed and I don't want to be using these drilled holes all too much, because I really don't want to be making another one of these. Alright, so here we have the entire wiring harness of the car. This is the bit that goes into the chassis itself. Then we have this bit. This is what actually goes into the fuse box. And then we have the rest, which is hanging here. Which is, well, just trust me on that, it's there. And that's the part that goes into the engine bay. However, what we do need is the bit that goes into the fuse box from the ABS pump. So we have the pump sitting right next to the fuse box. It needs power, it needs sensors, it needs communication, it needs a bunch of stuff. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be wiring up the basics. So all the sensors that goes from the ABS pump into the fuse box and into the rest of the car, just so I can finish up the fuse box itself. I will actually tackle the ABS wiring itself another time, but this way we can actually finish up the fuse box, get it into the car, and we can finish putting the interior back together. So that's what I'm going to be doing now, and I'm going to be wiring up the new connector for the ABS pump, all original parts from BMW, because, well, I didn't really have a choice. I might have already completely finished the wiring loom, but I was like, I was at it, might as well do the rest. So now we got the entire, well, not the entire chassis loom, but the entire plug for the ABS fitted. So now we can run this through the fuse box, and we can actually seal up the fuse box and put it in the car at last. So enough side quests, we can now go back to the main topic at hand, the fuse box. So we're gonna put it in.
5 minutes later.
Heel vergeten.
Ja.
Wat ben je vergeten?
Ja, niks vergeten, maar ik moet hem in de fusebox zelf ook nog aansluiten.
Oh.
Dus dit moet zeg maar zo.
Ja.
Daar ergens. Als dit dan dit zit, is het goed. Maar dan de juiste kabel op de juiste plek.
Easy peasy.
Als jij dat even doet, ga ik een biertje pakken.
The next day.
Don't worry about that. That's temporary. You don't. Everyone does that. Everyone does that. You don't have to act like you don't do the same in your car. This is just for the bench setup. I'm actually gonna fix it properly. So don't give me shit about that. Yeah, so that took a bit longer than expected. We have the entire car harness laid out here. Everything functions as it should. Gotta start the car first. Yeah, booted up the car. So we have the blinkers, we have the hazards, we have the brake lights, we have everything. We also wired up the ABS unit, but more on that later. I'm not sure if you've seen it already or not, whatever. We have the accessory fuel pump, which is already turned on. So this is the fuel pump for the surge tank, and that's pretty much it. So everything is functional, everything works. All I gotta do now is tidy it up, put it in the fuse box, wrap it all up and tape again because of the added stuff like the ABS wiring loom and the fuel system. And then we can actually put it in the car and continue with other stuff. plans changed. This has nothing to do with the fact that I cut one hole wrong, but the previous cage had some cutouts here, which I really don't like. And I might have, well, technically it's not my fault. You see what happened? We did everything perfectly on this side, perfectly. We took our time, which we usually don't, but it turns out we made this side fit perfectly. We were like, okay, we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, make it exactly symmetrical. But it turns out the car isn't exactly symmetrical. So this hole is wrong. And it's too big of a gap to leave inside. So that brings us to carpet number 2, here. So now this is our prototype and this is gonna be the final carpet. So now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do it right this time. Even better, right? Better. So
After 2 beers, it can only go up.
we had some time in the boardroom to reflect on where we went wrong. Yeah, so we made a plan of attack, and it boils down to don't fuck it up this time, because it was hard as fuck to find another carpet that doesn't have cigarette stains. So this is like a unicorn to find. All right, so I'm gonna put in the electrode, the wiring loom, and we're gonna go on with, I don't know, just snip snap. All right, job done. It was much easier than expected. No, in reality it was a fucking nightmare. The first carpet we cut up wrong. Either way, we managed to make it work. Using the old one, we even managed to make the cutouts a bit nicer. As you can see, we managed to make the carpet fit perfectly around the cages. It's only 4 points where the cage goes through the carpet, but it's pretty tricky trying to cut it in such a way that you can actually install the carpet. Yeah, pretty boring stuff, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, that was a full day's of work just to get the carpet in. That's gonna be it for today, and tomorrow we'll continue with more fun jobs.
The next day.
All right, so we finished installing all of the wiring back into the chassis. We made sure to use all the original locations, the original brackets, the original plastic clips to secure it in the proper spots. The only thing left to do now is put in the battery cable again. Originally this was a 4-cylinder car, so that means the battery is here. I think it's an incredible pain in the ass to have to look at the battery here in the engine bay. We want to keep it nice, we want to keep it clean. So we moved it into the trunk, and instead of having this big distribution box for the power, I opted to go for a single clip.
Nice.
Zo.
Ik was hier net nog de batterij aan het vastmaken. Waar ben je nu aan het doen?
Niks. Ik was mijn rem aan het schoonmaken.
Ja, hoe doe je dat?
Een sigaretje aan het roken. Ik weet niet waar je het over hebt. We moeten een verantwoord voorbeeld geven. Dat is niet...
En al ben ik klaar, Mark? Ja.
Dat is ook geen verantwoord voorbeeld.
Als hij tikt, dan heb je het einde bereikt.
Doe eens niet zo flauw. Laat even zien in je screentime.
Jawel, kom.
Misschien moet je je scherm draaien omdat het getal zo hoog is.
Schakel op tijd in.
Weak. Weak. Misschien zo'n beetje?
Beetje, maar... Is dit de bedoeling of is dit...
Kijk.
Ja, je hebt zeg maar... Een motor...
Als ik vast,
Oké, als jij het zegt, dan is het goed.
All right, that's gonna be it for now. We tackled a lot of simple jobs that didn't turn out to be so simple after all, but that's our specialty. We take tiny problems, make them into, well, you've seen you see what we've did, so doesn't matter. These jobs did take quite a bit of time. We put in the carpet, we put in the wiring harness, we might make some slight modifications to the fuse box, but in the end, I think it's all worth it because the wiring is looking absolutely fantastic. This is about as minimal as you can get it for a car of this specification. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one as well, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.